YouTube, this is Jason again. I have not put out a video in quite a while, and the ones that I did have up actually removed. I was beginning to get a little bit creeped out by the whole thing of people being able to see about my life and that type of thing. But I've kind of overcome that obstacle, and I'd like to start doing this again. So for those of you who don't remember, just to give you a brief description of myself and the way I view life. I was raised in the Southern California desert areas and I have very rural sensibilities, I guess you could say, and I'm highly libertarian. So the way I view life is trying to be as self-sustaining as possible and try to always be prepared for situations that you may not anticipate. My dad calls it, what does he call it? Prepare for the worst and hope for the best, that type of thing. And expect the unexpected is actually the phrase I was looking for. But he says both. Anyways, so in terms of what I carry every day, I'm going to be walking a fine line between not being loaded down with too much unnecessary crap and not being prepared for things that might arise. So I'm constantly walking that fine line. There was a time when I had my pocket so loaded with stuff that I looked like a clown in my pants. And then slowly but surely I started to assess the true risks of my situations and would plan accordingly. So when I say true risks, I mean reasonable risks, likely scenarios, or even relatively unlikely but possible. Not the more extreme fringe ideas that I had in my head at one point. So my EDC, my everyday carry, is going to be situationally dependent. I still live in a rural desert area, and so I have a lot of latitude as to what I can carry without bringing a lot of attention to myself. But frequently I'll go down to major cities, LA, Orange County, and in smaller cities like Palm Springs, etc. And when I go down there, I have to take a little bit of a different approach. The threats are much higher, but also the likelihood that you're going to be looked at in a negative way by whoever is high. Let me slow down. The chances are pretty high down there that if I were to carry a load of crap, I would be either targeted one way or another in a way that I wouldn't want. So I do have to be aware of the situation that I'm going into. So, but as a rule, here's what I carry every day for the most part. And I say for the most part because there are situations like you can't carry certain things into a school or a courthouse or a Social Security office, that type of thing. So apart from those unique situations, here's what I basically carry every day, and I do carry two different versions of it, and you'll see why in a minute. The first thing, of course, is a wallet. I do think everybody needs to have things in their wallet that they would need in this situation where they would need to identify themselves. If there's a healthcare crisis in yourself, you have insurance cards, some cash, credit cards, etc. And a list of emergency contact numbers and names in case you end up incapacitated or dead. You would like the people to be able to contact your loved ones. So the second thing that I normally always carry is this flashlight. It's a cheap Chinese model, but it's actually surprisingly bright, and as you can see, possibly it's pretty beat up, but it does okay. It's it's a AA battery, and it lasts pretty long as long as you don't keep it on the high setting too long, because it is pretty bright. Next thing is a lighter. I don't smoke, but in the event that you do get stranded in a situation, urban or rural, you are going to want a way to start a fire that's reliable. And I found anyways that Bic lighters are fairly reliable. Next thing is a bandana. I always carry this in my pocket. If I'm going to be in a situation where it will make me look too threatening, I'll stuff it deep in my pocket. But it's a handy item to have for wiping dew off of the inside of your window of your car, wiping the sweat on your brow. This cat, I'm sorry, the cat's in Jazz likes to have attention, so gotta get him down. Let's see here. Bandana. And in the more fringe way of looking at things, it is 100% cotton, so you could make it into char cloth. And I do know how to do it, and I've done it, and maybe at some point I will put up a video on that. But it's not really for that. It's more just practical things, wiping your sweat and dew off the window, more or less. Let's see here. The other thing that I do try to carry is this is sort of situationally dependent. If I'm in a situation where I think that I'm going to need to remember things, as you get older, you folks that are younger, you'll see your memory does go down the crapper. So having a notepad, and also you never know when you might run into a nice girl who has wants to give you your phone number, and I'm not going to risk trying to commit that to my memory. So let's see here. The other thing I have, let's see here. Let me jump up here. Oh, here it is. The knife that I always carry is what I would call just your standard old man knife. It's a Imperial Congress. It's got 4 blades. Basically, it's got one of these here blades, and then it's got 2 smaller blades that are called pin blades. I can't remember what this other one is, but it's I think it's a sheepfoot or something like that. The reason why I have this is it's not the most robust knife in the world, but you can deploy this in any situation basically, and no one's going to get threatened. They're not, feel threatened rather. They're going to just realize that it's just a tool and you're opening a package or whatever. They're not going to feel scared. And so then I carry 2 other robust knives that I generally don't deploy unless I'm either at work or in a situation where I know that the people around me aren't going to get freaked out. The first one is the one I wear to work generally, and this is a very robust. It's called a Lansky World Legal knife, and it's called the World Legal because it is under 3 inches, and it's a 2-handed opening knife, and believe me, this baby is tight. So on occasions, you're going to get I've heard, I've not experienced, but I've heard certain bad apple law enforcement officers who will try to make any knife that you have into what you call a gravity knife. And what that means is you can flick it open with one hand. This is not going to happen. I would bet my eyes that you couldn't, or nobody could, when these are new, open them up with one hand. It's not going to happen. Very tough to open. But it's also got a very robust blade. So anyway, so the reason it's legal is it's short, it's slip joint, no lock, and it's not a gravity type knife. But as you can see, this is very aggressive looking. So I would not deploy this in any situation where people might be around that would be fearful, because we all know that unfortunately the laws don't matter. Really, they don't. Something can be completely legal, but if it makes somebody feel scared, the law enforcement can take it away. They're not going to charge you most likely, and even if they did, they would lose. But you're still going to have to go down there to the, to the station and retrieve it. Get your receipt and retrieve it. And that's if you're lucky. If they give you a receipt, they don't just toss it or keep it. But so that's what I carry at work. It's very robust. This one is also robust, but is a lot more user friendly. And I wouldn't really be fearful in taking this out in most situations, I would say. Some I would be leery, but this is called a what do you call it? Elephant toenail knife, and it's got a very robust blade also, and it's a lot more user friendly. That's not the right phrase. It's a lot more people friendly in terms of the way people view things. So those are my two knives, and I also have this leather pouch I put it in. It's like a sheath, had it custom made, and that's mainly to conceal the outline on the pocket as a further way to avoid, you know, people getting nosy. Let's see here. Coming down the home stretch. Of course, I got a phone. I'm not going to really mention too much about that, other than in my truck I do have a charger, because I try to keep it always charged in the event of a situation where I have to be out for a long time. Yeah, this is situationally dependent too. This paracord bracelet, in my area I always wear it. I do. But if I'm wanting to look a little more classy, you know, and go to a restaurant or go on a date with a girl, you don't really want to have this freaking thing around your wrist, really, unless you got a really cool chick. She's not going to like it. The other thing that kind of fits into that category too is the last item, and that's just this necklace here. It's got a ferro rod. Let's see here. And then it's got this tool that I got from Big 5 Sporting Goods. And then in here I just have some Strike Anywhere matches, Vaseline and cotton balls. I think that's it. Let me look here. I think I forgot. Yeah, that's it. And I wouldn't generally wear this if I was going to be hanging out and trying to look classy. And this last summer I did wear it, and believe me, this thing gets hotter on your neck. So, you know, this is something I'll sometimes wear if I'm going to be out on the construction field, out in a very remote area, and I'm pretty nervous about getting stranded. Then I will carry this. So that's the video on my everyday carry. It's a little bit lengthy. It looks like it's 12.5 minutes long. But I'm just getting back into this thing. I know I got this junky computer camera here, but I'll try to put out more videos. If I get a lot of people watching and that type of thing, I might get a camera someday or something. I'll probably never invest thousands of dollars like a lot of these YouTubers do. It's just not my thing. You know, I'd rather spend my money on other things, and these guys are a lot more knowledgeable anyways. So, but the future videos are going to be, I'll probably do one on my bug out bag. I basically have 3 systems, and I'll cut this video off here pretty shortly, but I have 3 sort of bug out bag systems. One would be your standard bug out bag, which is you're taking your items and you're purposefully leaving, but yet you're hopeful that you're going to be able to return soon. The other is just a get home bag that you would carry in your vehicle or on my motorcycle. It's basically a bag that is intended to get you home, and your goal is to, you might have to deal with some unforeseen weather or whatever, but your intention is to go home. So you're going to need less stuff than if you were purposely bugging out. And then the third bag, I would call it the inch bag, which is I'm never coming home. And that's, more of an apocalyptic scenario. And I've let that kind of, I've scavenged some things out of it because I think that scenario is pretty unlikely. But I do have a nice framed pack that I'll maybe show you sometime. And it's loaded full of stuff. So I guess that's it. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.